Due to the following CBS School Break special, Magnum PI will not be seen today. It will be broadcast tomorrow in the regular time period.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
I don't really spend abundant time giving you more and more choices to work from, because then you almost overthink something to the point that the way another person sees it may not actually bless you with greater insight than what you kind of capture or hit upon for yourself.
Welcome back, everybody.
Go ahead. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. No,
Please. No,
no,
I was gonna say, every time you
no.
show a clip of that Alex Ross documentary, I'm like, yeah, let's just watch that. That looks great. Anyway.
Welcome back, everybody. Time again for another Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Suntress here. Happy to welcome Brian Bendis back for a brand new Bendis tapes. Good to see you, my man.
Our 22nd anniversary of doing these together.
Kind of.
I'm just
21. I think
21 or
honestly,
22. I think 22.
Well, I think our first was 05. Yeah, it was 05 because
All right.
at some point
Let's
in
call
05.
it.
Yeah,
Happy anniversary, John.
Mazel.
There
Beautiful.
you go. All right. It's good to see you. So today's what we're doing, we have an agenda today. This is, we're going to have a little chat, but Zach is so good to see you, Zach. You almost got that right, but I appreciate it. We're going to talk, but we're also going to set the dates for the next two Word Balloon Jinxworld book clubs, of which sadly both you and I, our schedules did not align, nor did our health issues align with being able to get this done. So I'm sorry about that. So we're gonna set that up, and we have some awesome choices, but we'll talk about whatever anybody wants to talk about today, and there you go. How are you doing, John? How's it been going?
Everything's good, man. I was at Illinois State last weekend. My buddy got into that same Radio Hall of Fame that I got into. And my co-pilot, he was the general manager when I was the program director. So that was a lot of fun.
That's
and the
nice.
kids were nice. I mean, we are old, man. I mean, we literally, man, this is like 40 years ago shit. And so much so, the woman that's the sponsor of the radio station is retiring. And she was a grad student, and this was her first pro job my second year at the radio station. So it was a combination of the people in the Hall of Fame and retirement party for her. She's 63. She's great, but she's a good friend of mine.
I talk about this with some of our friends because there's something about this job and just what kind of energy you bring to it. It does kind of keep you young and young feeling and not really considering your age a lot, other than the harsh realities that do remind you of your age. So it's quite a bit of whiplash that we always go through. Like, you were spending all day thinking about Spider-Man and Star Wars and having fun, and then all of a sudden you're like, my adult daughter with a job just called me to ask me a question about taxes. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm an adult. That's a
sure.
It's constant reminders of, like, if my kids are this old, then I am. Yeah. It's simple math, and it's horrible math.
Sad headline. Shout out to Adam Hughes. We're so sorry. We certainly, you have our thoughts, and God, all the best to you and Allison, man. This is really hard.
For sure. Allison's really cool. And Adam too. Adam and Adam was, I went to Motor City Comic Con in the 90s, and the first time I ever spent my own money on an original piece of artwork was Adam Hughes's there. And I bought like a Scarlet Witch sketch by him. And I took it home and I flipped it over. And there was also a sketch of a Klingon, like a female Klingon. He was working on that Star Trek graphic novel he did, which I highly recommend. And I was like, bonus Adam Hughes sketch. It was like also just watching him draw. It just it was one of the first shows I had done as like a published person. I was there with Caliber comics. That's how early it was. So I'm like just watching these other professionals going, oh man. And so for years and years, like I just been like showering Adam with like praise. He's just one of my favorites. And we got to work together on Superman for a little bit. When I first went to DC, one of them was, Adam wants to do one of the Man of Steel issues. I'm like, oh yes. And he did tons of covers for my entire Superman run. I posted a bunch of them this morning because not only are they just, it's amazing that I get to have that in my life, that Adam Hughes did covers. They're among the best things he's ever done. And they're on my Instagram right now. You can go look at them. There's one banger after the other. Just great idea, great idea, great idea. Well executed, well executed. He's a tremendous comics creator and a good, though we're not like close friends or anything, but we've worked together well. He was very good to Oming as we were coming up. Oming was kind of parallel to the Gaijin Studio group. And if you guys don't know what Gaijin Studios is, Google it and go, wow, all those people work together in the same place at the same time. It was like Adam Hughes, Jason Pearson, Brian Stelfreeze, Carl Kessel. I don't want to miss anybody, so I'll stop. But like anyone in the 90s wanted to be as good as an artist as was working in that studio. And so I wish him all the best. We've all had our medical struggles, and I'm hoping he powers through and we get to see more cool stuff from him.
B Things wants to know, do you think it was Lursa or Beitor for the Klingon drawing?
I couldn't tell you. I'm sorry, I don't know. But that's
I refer to them as the Landers sisters of Star Trek because they're sisters and they're
okay. But it was I don't know. It's hard to describe. Like I know a lot of people have had that at conventions where you buy something and you take it home and it's it's signed. Oh, he sketched in it. Oh, there's something more here than I thought was going to be. And it was like the first time that happened to me. And I think it's kind of why I keep giving away free shit at shows, because it was like, oh, that's the best. That like when you come home and there's something more in the bag than you thought there was. So
somebody, I forget who sent me the art that the envelope was in, but on the outside of the envelope, Doc Shaner drew an Iron Fist. So I got, and it was like, oh, and it wasn't Doc that sent me the original art. So I think it was my friend Kyle Latino, but it was so great.
My other one, this is how, again, here's some old man comic book talk, but back when there was Capital Comics and Diamond Comics, and Chicago, you worked at a comic store, me and the manager would get in a car, go to the warehouse, and pack up the order and take it to the store on whatever night there was. I think it's the Wednesdays. And so Tuesday night, we go to the warehouse. The cool thing about going to the warehouse is there sometimes was just abandoned stuff or a little damaged or stuff that like, this is getting thrown out unless you want it. And I got like a Steve Rude's first sketchbook signed by him. It just had a ding in the back cover. I got a Electra Assassin graffiti design that I grabbed, and they gave it to me at cost. And I came home, it was signed by both Frank Miller and Bill Sienkiewicz. So these are I love that feeling. So anyway. So, but all this to say, best wishes to Adam and Allison, who literally my earliest memory of meeting them in the 90s is her bringing cookies to everybody at every show. Like she just had fresh baked cookies. That's, an amazing thing.
Every show I see them at, they're always incredibly kind, and both to fans and schmucks like me. So that's really nice. Matt Garcia.
And also check out May's agency. Like there's like all this cool stuff that man, I was so jealous of May. I was so jealous of it. It was so well done. Mike Barr and Adam Hughes just killing it.
That was 80s, man. That's black and white era.
But that's like when I was trying to figure out how to make a comic. There's someone doing it in black and white, and it looks well, that's it. There it is. Do that.
Really, I don't think, because we're in this embarrassment of riches of comics, you got to understand, man, sorry, the Alter Cocker's talking. Back then when we got comic books, that was something. No, really, like the whole black and white boom was so exciting because we really went from, Dell, Charlton, Gold Key, DC, Marvel, to, hey, look, everybody's doing this now.
Yeah, it felt like a dam burst or something. Like
it was punk. It was punk rock comics.
Also talking a lot. I've been talking to Mike Richardson because that Dark Horse came out of that. The whole of Dark Horse came out of that, and he told me recently just like exactly what it felt like, because it was just literally like a few years before I made my first comic. Was like 86 when everything like exploded, and like literally a bunch of people going, oh, let's just do it ourselves. Like, well, what do we like? Let's just make them. Hey, now we own a comic company, and a lot of great stuff came out of there because it was just passion. Yeah. It was no one was looking for anything but just making a good comic.
Like look up if you can find it in the dollar bins or $5 bins, whatever they are now. Grab an Amazing Heroes from that period and all the indie. You used to work with Justice Machine, Mike Gustafson.
When I was in high school, Mike let me do some spot inking on some of his pages. I can't remember. It was a sci-fi book he did for Paradox. I'm blanking now. It was like a famous book that they adapted when they were doing this. It'll come to me in 3 hours after we're done.
No worries.
And but Justice Machine. But again, it was the first artist who like just showed me how they were living their lives and how they were, having all of their references and materials all lined up and ready to go. And how you fix a mistake. Things like I wasn't learning in art school. Like I learned a lot in art school, but going to an artist's house and seeing the big old mess and watching how they make the sausage was powerfully important to me. Yeah. And it all came out of there. Yeah.
Again, you all saw the possibilities of doing it yourself. No question. Well, let's talk about Powers, my man.
Sure. Speaking of doing it ourselves. Okay. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I'll do the high pitch this is year 3 of our 25th anniversary of Powers. But me and Mike are so grateful we get to keep making Powers. We're now at Dark Horse. They have the whole library, but we're doing a brand new series called Powers 25, which is this big giant mystery that connects the old stuff of Powers, but is a brand new storyline with new characters. We're really excited. And for those of you who are me and Bagley completists, it has a very rare Mark Bagley non-Marvel DC cover that he did for us just before he said yes to working with me on Avengers 800. So it was very cool to get this from him. It's just lovely. But so this is the main cover with Mike and Nick Filardi, our awesome colorist, and this is Mark Bagley with Nick Filardi, which was really cool to see. So so it's a big giant mystery going on. Been very exciting. When we started working on Powers again, it was always we had a lot of professional creative goals of things like we know what we don't want to do. We don't want to repeat anything we've done before, but we also don't want to be foolishly dismissive of what we've done before. We want to kind of find a way to do both. And there was examples in the media, both of the good version and the bad version, and kind of like look for that for our best sense. And then all of a sudden, for those you may have seen on our social media, Netflix has put us in development as an animated show with me and Mike being the lead creators. And it has been the best experience, because why we were getting together to do Powers again was just to have a new experience. And then Netflix and this great executive named Dan Evans, along with Dark Horse, got us all together and said, hey, what do you think about adult animation for Powers? I'm like, yes. So we are in a very good space with how that's cooking along. It's a lot of typing on my end, but for those who may or may not remember, 10 years ago, we were lucky enough to have a TV show. And I say kind of because it was on the PlayStation Network, which was never actually a thing. But we were there and we had a great time. It went on for years of my life and it was a wonderful experience. But we learned so much from that experience, and it's all being applied to this.
It was on Crackle. It was on Crackle as well.
No, it's on. Yeah,
it go to Crackle. Back then, where is it now?
I never understood, because Crackle was Sony and PlayStation was Sony, and even then we're like, why don't you guys like mush this all together and be like Sony Plus or whatever? You could clearly see where it was all headed, but Sony never wanted to invest in that space. They wanted to sell out the shows to the Netflix and the Amazon. So that's what they continue to do. But for a moment, they saw how many people were just watching TV and YouTube on PlayStation. I think they were startled by the audience determining we're going to make this a home entertainment system, not just a gaming console. And we're like, oh, we should put some stuff on there. We should, and that. So half the company wanted them to put stuff on there, and half the company just wanted to do games. And so we were kind of stuck in the middle. Great experience. Loved every second of it. Making that show in Atlanta for a couple of years, but and it's floating around. It's on Amazon. It's streaming somewhere, but it never made it to Tubi. I thought it was for sure a Tubi bound, but who knows? But I know, but anyway, the second chance of it is insane. It never happens. Like shows that get a second chance had some kind of cultural impact the first time. You know, like and God bless, we tried our best, but we weren't in a position to be culturally impactful back then. But here we are in such the right hands. And, you know, even looking back at some of my notes and files from the original TV show, the conversation I was having to engage with. How do they know they're superheroes? How will the audience know which one are the superheroes? Where do they come from? Like I had to like take it all the way back to the beginning of the genre to explain to the executives what this was, even though they had bought it. And here with Netflix, we are 10 years later, 50 superhero movies, all the streaming shows, like an audience that has been cultured and they know all of this, even on the base level, the elevated conversation about what powers can be as a TV show is delightful. So that's where we are right now. And it's animation. It takes a while. It's not up to us if it happens or not. We're giving it our all. We're in a very good space right now. It doesn't happen, I'll let everybody know, but right now it's very healthy and it's very cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did Torso open the door to this?
You know, in different parts of the company, like so much so that we actually had to tell them, oh, we actually have something else going on over in live action features, which is a different universe than the animation space. And even like there was something else going on in animation comedy and adult animation, two different parts of the company. So it just happened to be good luck that, for those that don't know, Torso got picked up for Zach Kreger and Roy Lee. And we have a great writer attached who started to work right now. Me and Mark gave him everything we had in our Torso files to make his life easier. And that seems to be going very well. I'm very excited about what that could be. And for those who don't know, that's been going on for about 30 years of our life. I think we're at the 30-year anniversary of Torso being in development. This is one of the strongest positions it's been in. It has been in other cool positions before. This one, like, boy, it would be great if we got something at the end of it. You know what I mean? So,
it's a great
I can't
story.
remember. I told you last time this, like, I had to go to my lawyer and I said, what's the longest a book has been optioned consistently without being made? Are we in the running for the record? Like, and immediately came back with no, Dune was 50 years and supposedly Frozen is based on a source material that Disney's been holding on to for like 75 years. So we're not even close. Hilarious. So maybe feel better like it's not us. You know what I mean? Because it does feel like, well, this is a long time to be not having a thing. So Torso's over there. That's cooking. Powers is more us, me and Mike. Mike is visually developing the show while I'm writing the show, and that's in its own lane. And then there will be news of another coming soon, to my shock and delight.
Rad
just
Puppy,
happened on Friday.
Here, Rad Puppy says,
"Oh,
I just started watching the Powers TV show recently. Bought the entire series on Fandango."
Thank you. Well, I don't know what Fandango at Home is. I think we can guess. That's cool. Yeah, it's out there. I will say for people looking at the show, the second season is far superior to the first. There's like just like different showrunner. I was more on set. I wrote more of it, not because I was writing, but the whole look of the show, the style, and we kind of like figured some stuff out in the second season that was. I think, John, you met our partner there, Remy Ubashan, who was a great, TV, warhorse, and he came in and really helped us make a show. He created Fallen Skies and a bunch of other stuff, and so the whole second season just pops. Trisha Helfer's on there. The cast is nuts. It's Eddie Izzard, Noah Taylor, just everybody on the show is like, wow, look at that. That's a show full of people.
Absolutely. Yeah, I hear.
Oh, we got comments. Sorry. Shit.
Yeah, Fandango at Home is what Voodoo became. Yeah, Voodoo digital, you buy when you get your
I swear to God, that's the first I've ever heard that. That's okay.
Yeah.
I thought Voodoo just went away. All right.
So there you go. Yeah. So and everyone's asking, hey, what Powers? Yeah, Powers hopefully coming to Netflix. Brian is
hopefully we're very good hands, and again, not up to us in the long run. There's a lot has to happen, but I think what you're hearing from me is Mike and I learned so much from the past experience, and we were just about to apply it to a third season, which was going to happen until the PlayStation Network went away. So I was like, I felt like I had all these lessons learned, and and so we get to learn them here. Also, plus not only just the experience of Powers, but the experience of all the stuff we did at Marvel and working behind the scenes in all those Marvel movies. It was just literally like going to film school all the time. It's like getting paid to like listen to everyone who knows what they're doing, teach you stuff. I'm sitting in a room with Shane Black on Iron Man 3 going, I'm learning. This guy knows what he's doing. Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's fantastic. Man. So exciting. And well, next week again, issue 8 of Powers.
Issue 8. It's going to go all year, and then we're gonna So it's like a 12 issue big story. This story, issue 8, focuses on how Cutter found her way to this space, and we're like introducing you to a lot of new characters as well. And I know that for some people, that's the stuff of mine they enjoy the best. So like show us how this person got here, and so we have that for you.
Prince Parker wants to know, he pays for PlayStation Premium. Can he watch Powers there?
I don't think you can anymore. I really, again, this was like 10 years ago, and there's like a million PlayStation Pro premiums since then. Again, we're 3 generations of consoles since then. So I think I've seen it on Amazon. I've seen it floating around YouTube. Also, look at the trailer to season 2 on YouTube. If you like how it looks, go check it out. If it's not for you, don't worry about it. How about that?
And I remember. Do you remember one of the shows that was in development there was going to be Winter World, that Chuck Dixon, Alfredo Alcala thing from the 80s? That was so neat. I don't know if you remember.
There was a lot of plans. I've had this a few times in my life where there's like a lot of people are making plans, and then they just all go. They're just gone. They're just all gone. Right? Sure. There was a meeting and something got shut down, and I've had it both when I was working at Marvel at DC. There was like a big plan, like, oh, we're not doing it anymore. Oh, okay, great. And not like something that was mine, but something I was like, oh, I'm interested to see if that happens, or what that will be like, or what it'll be like to read. So
you want to remind everybody, obviously, because Brian is so willing to. I mean, we've got other things we can talk about.
Well, but, the other I did want to because we're here, but Spider-Man Superman is coming out in like a week and a half or 2 weeks. It's today Wednesday, yeah. So there you go. Look at you already. I was just thinking I should have got some visuals ready. Look at you.
Well, thank you, Rich Johnson.
Oh yes, I'd say that.
I'll admit it. I swiped it there, man. That's where I saw the article. I'm like, all right, he's got a few panels. There were other panels as well, but that was one of the better ones. So it's Miles and Clark.
Miles and Clark. It was a great honor. Number one, it's Sarah Pichelli and I reuniting for the first time in maybe even a decade. I can't remember the last. She did the last page of my last issue of Spider-Man, which was 8 or 9 years ago at this point. So it's been a while since we hunkered down together. We got to reunite earlier this year in Italy. I got to go to Italy and hang out with her, and we really got to like rebond over everything that's happened with Miles since, and how wonderful of an experience it was for us. And and from that reunion, we're doing this, which is a smaller piece. It's only a few pages. It's part of the bigger everyone's got a few pages to go nuts. And then after that, down the line, there's a much larger project that Sarah and I are already at work on. So, and then I'm honestly pretty excited and emotional about it. All the projects that I've got cooking over at Marvel were kind of curated for me to do something new with a lot of stuff, and pretty excited about that. And some reunions that I'm just really kind of emotional about, like really excited to get back together with people who I just loved working with. We're not particularly close friends or anything, but just the experiences we had together were quite something. It's lovely to have that happen again.
Here we go. Colbris. Notice your story has Superman's updated rebirth suit and not the trunks. Was that you or a Sarah thing?
No, that was a DC thing. Originally, I was offered. They go, "What do you think about John Kent meets Miles?" And I said, "I do think people have had enough of me and John Kent. Let's let that." But no. The real thing was I felt that Miles, not only in my work but in Cody and everyone who's been writing Miles over the last years, he's been hanging out with a lot of people his own age, and learning a lot from those people. And I thought particularly recently in Cody's work, boy, a lot of that's been covered. But wouldn't it be interesting for Miles to meet Superman, to meet the OG Superman? I just thought it was just more for the 5 pages or whatever that we had. There's a lot more. Oh, I have something to ask you. It's kind of like a young guitarist meeting, Paul McCartney. It's just like a different energy, right? And so I asked for that, and they said yes. And then it came back. It's got to be this costume, and I was like, you know what? I walked into DC years ago. It was all about the shorts, and everyone was fighting about the trunks and the shorts, and I got my trunks, and I'm like, all right, we don't need the trunks this time. It's okay. I didn't even bring it up. I just said, okay, no problem.
Hey, I honestly didn't even notice until they said it, and it's like, oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
okay.
And also, as I told,
if I may point out as well, that's
you can color it. You can take out your own. You can color it. You scan it in. You can drop in some color. You can make your own shorts. Highly recommend it. Yeah, so
that's hilarious. Honestly, I'm excited for your 5-pager, and I forget if it's in DC or in Marvel. Slott doing 1938 Superman and Spider-Man.
I think it's in this one. If I'm wrong, let me know. I think it's in with us. Yeah. I get these lists of who else is in the book, and it's every one of them was like, wow, it was crazy, and I'm thrilled to be invited. It's very cool.
It's cool, and I would love to see more. But I think I don't want to see them beat the horse to death. You know what I mean? It's same with What If or Elseworlds. Mike Carlin and I literally last week we were talking about, not to name drop, but I did. That we were talking about Elseworlds, and he's like, it kind of he's like, I still love him, and really you can name so many. He's like, my friend Superman, the anime from Cartoon Network. He's like, that's an Elseworld.
Yeah,
but all the new anime Superman, my best friend Superman, or whatever the fuck it was called. Stuff like, he's like, that's an Elseworld, and everything could be an Elseworld. But when we got to Batman, the Blue and the Gray, it's like, all right, I think too much ice cream, too much pizza.
You know what? I also loved all those Elseworlds, particularly in the 90s, where I was working at the comic store and everything was expensive, and I just sit there, and Howard Chaykin was killing on so many of them. There was a lot of my favorite creators were doing what they've always wanted to do with those creations, and so most of them were pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
Particularly in the 90s, but there's always, if something works, it's oversaturated. Immediately they'll just do 50 times more than needed.
You did a short, and was it in Legends of the Dark Knight where you did Citizen Wayne? And that
was my first DC work. It was me and Michael Gaydos. It was so funny. I got to reprint it in the first issue of Pearl that we did at DC Comics, because just trying to get people's attention on a new creator own is so impossible. And I was like, hey, years ago, me and Gaydos, literally 6 months before Jessica Jones, did a Citizen Wayne, which was literally, what if Bruce Wayne was Citizen Kane? And every silly joke you could possibly think of. Oh, Rosebud is the bullet to kill his. Wasn't the Rosebud the bullet to kill his parents or something like that? I can't remember what it was, but it was like that. But we had a great time doing it. I'm thrilled I did it. We reprinted it in not only that, but I think it's also reprinted in the Batman Universe hardcover that
oh, the Walmart.
Yeah, with the Walmart stuff, because I was like, I got a handful of Batman shorts now too. We did one in Detective 1000, we did one in Detective 1027. So like ones I really love. So I was like happy to like have enough Batman to fill a book. So
that's awesome.
So we did that, and I remember thinking, oh, good, I did a Batman once. Like I remember thinking, well, they're never going to let me ever do that again. And also, the lead story of that book was called Batman Chronicles. The lead story was the Pander Brothers, which I really loved.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Right, Batman Chronicles. Sure, I remember that book.
Yeah. But it was all Elseworlds. It was all Elseworlds. And it's funny because I just was talking to Tom Brevoort recently about like certain storylines are definitely kind of like Elseworlds or future ideas, you know what I mean? Like Future Imperfect or Days of Future Past, or like things that like are they become canon through osmosis. Like it's like, well, they're not really canon but they're not canon. It's just like a thing that happened and we all agree that we didn't hate that. Like we all like that one. So it kind of like oozes its way into the consciousness of the character. So yeah, I wonder what character I was talking about from Marvel that we're thinking about.
I can suspect and connect some dots. My memory is good. And there are some future stories that you left dangling that might.
Yeah, I meant like Daredevil, like End of Days, like we did, like where there's like some ending to the Daredevil story, and then Charles Soule just did an excellent one with Steve McNiven that had a similar "this is the end of the road" vibe. Daredevil, right?
I had Charles on to talk about it. Absolutely, man.
It's a great book if anyone has seen it. It's just gorgeous, and I love Charles. Yeah, and also we're all like Dark Knight Returns babies, and Dark Knight Returns was the original one of like, well, that's not really what's going to happen, except now we all think it's going to happen. It's just what day will that happen on? So yeah,
that's true. But there are and I mean the sliding scale of the Legion with each change in the present day necessitates, I suppose, that although I always liked that pocket universe that Superboy and that Legion came from the 90s and stuff.
No, and I love those books, and I certainly got that. But I always felt like it's just like when we were doing our Legion, it was just deciding like it's just 1,000 years from today. Whatever today is, it's 1,000 years from now.
No, and
you make your choices based on that.
Well, and that's the cool thing. But you're right, like you said, Future Imperfect, really has kind of stuck. And there aren't that many DC things other than Dark Knight that I can think of.
No, there's 1 million. There's quite a few, and also the Legion and everything that it encompasses is a great.
Well, as an idea, but again, the story changes. The Maestro in Future Imperfect pretty much stays the Maestro, for example.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I agree completely. No. And then I went in throwing in the next Avengers from a cartoon that only me and you saw. I put them in Avengers to make sure they were canon, really messing up everything.
That's kind of what I was wondering. Given would you go back in that playground? Is there more to say?
With Next Avengers?
Yeah, or that era? Yeah, that era. I mean,
no, that's not what I'm doing. It's not what I'm doing this year. I'm doing a couple things that are like two were kind of on my I wish I would have done that checklist that I'm going to do. Not to be coy, I'm just going to wait till they get announced. And then and there was one that Tom came to me. And I was very surprised by, and it's the one I'm deeply excited about. I'll tell you about off the air, but I was like, we're often cooking on that one as well. And I was both happy and chuffed because I think the world of Tom and our time together. Like he was a very, very strong voice in my life for all those years that we were doing the events, and to the point where his voice is kind of still in my head when I'm doing other things. Like Tom's like ghost editing without knowing it. Anyway, so yeah. Oh, I just listened to Klaus Janson. Yeah,
Phil. Yeah, keep reading. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so Klaus Janson, who another person
read the question. Read the question.
I just listened to Klaus Janson on it's at the comic book Comics Counseling. Is that what that stands for? CBB.
I think okay. Comic book couples counseling.
Again, sure. We got CBC, CBBCC. We got a lot.
I wasn't sure either until you said it.
I do think that's comic book couples counseling.
Absolutely, it's great. They were on. There
was
the show
a potential Punisher end of day story way back when. It's absolutely true. We have talked about it recently, even. It was Daredevil End of Days, which was me and David Mack writing together, art by Klaus and Bill Sienkiewicz, Dream, with Alex Maleev doing both covers and also interior stuff, and David Mack also doing interior stuff, kind of like a Daredevil all-star smorgasbord, if you will. And that went very well, and we had been greenlit and agreed to do a Punisher End of Days that would be in that universe situation. We wrote it all up, and then I literally can't remember, like 3 of us couldn't do it immediately. 3 of us immediately couldn't do it for reasons that were all high class problems. We're like, okay, we'll get to it. And then I left, and then we never got to it. We would like to get to it. Even when we saw the Punisher special trailer, David's like, oh, I still want to do it. I'm like, yeah, we'll talk about it when the time comes, for sure. For sure. It makes my heart is so full from Daredevil End of Days, because that was us trying to show Klaus and Bill how much we love them, not just lip service, but let us show you in collaboration how much you've meant to us, and that experience was that we were able to accomplish that. It was quite something.
Are you watching Born Again second season?
I am. I'm a consulting producer on such. My name is in the credits.
Well, then obviously, all right. I didn't. I don't.
Yeah, I don't have anything to do with the show. I don't make the show, but my name is on the show because they are very, very nice to acknowledge how much of our stuff they're using and inspired. I must say, Charlie.
Well, yeah, you're right. I shared the White Tiger stuff, of course.
Yeah, the White Tiger stuff, and Charlie Cox did a whole piece on it on one of the social medias about that particular storyline, and I was really, really moved by it, because like a lot of creators have like a couple of projects that they know they worked way too hard on. Like they wouldn't change it, but like way too much research went into the Trial of the White Tiger, like an insane amount to like, and then for like years later to have someone acknowledge it was really nice, because that was one where I went nuts. Yeah.
Was it the court procedure that
yeah, I wanted it. I had, because I had so much fun doing the police research and the private eye research that I was doing for Jinx and Powers and other stuff, that I was really into this Richard Price mode of, you're making fictional stories, but they're very well researched. Like no one who knows anything about this world is going to be annoyed by you, right? So I really liked that. I thought that was a good space for me in comics to do like well-researched fiction, right? And so when it came to this, I was like, oh, I don't want to just do like a Law and Order episode using a lot of like TV lawyer language or whatever. So I was calling my lawyer, who's still my lawyer. I called my lawyer, and I was reading all these books and getting like which books would you read to make the case for this? Like which dockets would you pull? And then I would call my lawyer and go, okay, so if you were faced with this question and you were on trial, what would you? And he goes, is this a real thing or a cartoon thing? That was the funniest answer. I said it's real, but I just would like it to not sound like TV lawyers. I wanted, we all grew up with LA law. I wanted it to be like, something like substantial. And so months of work went into it, for that. And so I'm beyond thrilled to see it televised. Incredible.
That's excellent. Yeah. Have you ever talked to Guggenheim about,
Mark Guggenheim?
Yeah, about
not about this in particular. Mark is someone who during COVID would send my kid some Troll Hunter stuff he was working on, and
of course he did.
Yeah, very, very cool guy. Yeah.
He gave me a tape of something. I'll tell you off here. But
no.
But no, it's so great.
Troll Hunters.
Dude, I'm excited. Well, actually, I won't say because I don't know if you're going or not. But anyway, the thing later this summer. Are you going to Terrificon or no?
Oh, I think yes. I
Okay.
believe
Sorry
that's
to
a big
speak.
old yes. Yeah, I think
I
yeah.
apologize. All
Yeah, but
right.
you and I are going to do this live, right? That's what's going
Yeah.
to happen,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
That's a no-brainer. But C2E2, I took Guggenheim, Tim Sheridan, Jeremy Adams. Oh God. All right. I always forget one. Who am I forgetting? Shame on me. 4 writers.
Mhm.
And I can't think right now, but had a
You
blast.
sent me a picture of this. I saw a picture
Miller's
of this.
Pub. Yeah, Miller's Pub. Yeah, it was on Facebook. It was all over the place.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm a pig in shit at that stuff because classic. That's the restaurant that's 2 doors down from where Sid Caesar was hanging Mel Brooks out the window at the Palmer House. That's how close it is to the Palmer House. Anyway,
Did you watch the Mel Brooks documentary?
Yeah,
it was so good.
Yeah,
it was.
He knows what he's doing. Apatow's amazing.
But even the way he came into it, because like all of us our age, like I know more anecdotes about Mel Brooks's life by heart than I can remember of my own, right? So I'm like, okay, if he's just going to do the one-man show again, great. Great, let's hear it again. But instead he goes, the opening question was, all right, Mel, how much of this is bullshit? I'm like, oh, great question. Just knock it down. And, it's such a better take than I could have even imagined.
Judd Apatow is the Ken Burns of stand-up
of comedy docs. Yeah. I can't wait for the Maria Bamford one. Can't wait.
Yeah, no shit. I know. Yeah. I'm excited as well. But anyway, so yeah, it was just a joy taking everybody at all the writers. But yeah, Guggenheim was among them, and he was amazing.
All right, what we got here? So yeah, and also Klaus and I got to work on Superman almost the entire time I was on Superman. It was me, John Romita, and him on Superman for our last year there together. So I've just had nothing but warm experiences with Klaus, and again, someone I grew up admiring, someone I would sit in my room as a teenager going, I wish I could be Klaus Janson, and then to get to meet him and work with him on many projects and then be all great experiences is kind of why you want to be in comics. Honestly, it's kind of amazing.
Well, you kind of answered a question I was going to ask in talking about Charles's what his end of days story that he just did. Can you read other Daredevil writers and enjoy them?
Yeah, you know what? Yes, it comes in waves where, and also I needed distance. Like I was so into what Ed was doing, but I couldn't read it right that minute. I had to wait a year. And so I've read a ton of Miles Morales comics the last couple of weeks, just catching up on what's been going on and what a great job Cody Ziegler did. I can't even describe how much that's what I wanted to happen when I left that character. It's like someone just come in and go, he's a vampire, he's got a web sword. I'm like, yes. All just adding a bunch of cool stuff to it. So, but it's funny because it's like, it comes in waves. Like sometimes you're like, I don't know if I want to watch you do this better than me today, or maybe some of this material isn't for me, but it's for others, and I was part of it. And then sometimes I'm totally in the mood. I can't read enough of it. I remember and some of it I have to now I'm reading for research just to catch up and see where everybody is. There's a couple things coming up that you're going to be like, oh, of course I had to read this and this and this and this. And sometimes when it's research, it feels thrilling to be enjoying it. And I had the same thing when I walked into DC. There was a lot of stuff that I had read, but as a fan, but now I have to read it as a potential collaborator. It's a different mindset. It get very exciting, right? So yeah. I think Chip did an amazing job on Daredevil. I haven't read the new #1 yet, but I'm super psyched about
Steph.
Chip Dee was awesome. Yeah.
She's great. And Lee's an amazing artist. No, I'm
super excited about all things that are going on with the character right now. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too, is that there's nothing I've ever written. I came in as a fan, I'm a fan of Spider-Man. I'm a fan of Daredevil. And you don't leave the book not a fan anymore. You know what I mean? It's a different relationship.
No, but I always wonder if it's hey, it's like an old girlfriend or something like that. And it's
it really was you guys can go make out. I just don't have to watch it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that.
Peter? My God.
No, and also you also want them to be doing better than you. You know what I mean?
You want to move it forward.
Yeah. You want, you like, I want Miles to be published forever. And that needs that all the creators have to be kicking ass with it. Right. And that's how that goes. So yeah, it's a very strange, I'm not describing it. It's just very peculiar feeling. I couldn't have guessed them. Do you have any characters you created that you wouldn't want to see anyone else write?
You don't have to
they're mostly those are creator owned ones, the ones that we own that but if I'm putting a toy in the toy box, I have made the choice that anything will happen to this character. And also, like Joe used to say, when I was like blowing up Avengers Mansion, he was like, someone's going to kill Jessica Jones one day and you're just going to have to take it. Right. And he was right. He was like, if you're killing characters, you're going to have to be ready. That's the deal you're making. Right. And I'm like, okay, but it's completely fair. Right. So, and also,
is Jack of Hearts still dead?
I didn't kill Jack of Hearts. Jeff Johns killed Jack of Hearts. I brought him back as a zombie and then had them kill the zombie. He was dead.
So She-Hulk ripped up the zombie. Am I right?
She-Hulk ripped up the Vision, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
See,
please.
Long time ago. I remember. Yeah.
We're gonna get Jack of Hearts. Yeah, no, Jack of Hearts was gone. Anyway, and we're getting Zach says no, he's in She-Hulk. Yeah.
All right, I gotta pick it.
You're almost right. You saw it somewhere. You saw a solicitation with Jack of Hearts and She-Hulk, and you connected.
Yeah, I stopped reading Steph's miniseries. I mean, I got it. I just haven't had a chance to sit down with it. Sometimes, literally, it's like homework. Sometimes, like, I'm talking to Bendis. All right, let me catch up on Powers.
I'm
talking to Steph. Let me catch up on this. And I do.
Honestly, part of the
problem, everybody. I apologize, but that's sometimes I forget.
Sneeze. Excuse me. Anyway, but it's actually part of the book club. Is it kind of forces us to read things we're genuinely dying to read, but like I have so much to read for work, which is a great feeling, but there's also stuff I want to read for fun. And also you and I both get a lot of advanced PDFs from our friends, and you're like, I want to drop everything I'm doing and read this. One of my favorite people in comics just did something new. Like, let's stop what we're doing and do that. So it's Andy a high class problem, but you can't read everything. Yeah.
Andy Parks tomorrow. Him and Dave Wachter, their new Ignition Press book. I got an advance of that, and I'm gonna
what's it called? I have that.
Bad Thoughts.
Yeah, I got that from Jamie Rich sent us all copies. Yeah.
I'm happy for Jamie. I'm happy for Philip. Jeremy's one of my best friends in comics. It's so great. And they're just
I thought you were going to say but. I thought there was a but coming.
No, there's no not at all. No, much like Kirkman, it's like, hey, I'm kicking ass. Let me bring some people in and let's all do fun books and stuff. But in the case of Ignition Press, it's all creator-owned stuff. Clay Moore is there. Awesome. Cullen Bunn. Good for them, man. It's good stuff. And Wachter, I'm so happy for Wachter. I was just telling another friend, Steve Bryant. Like, I've known that guy since 21 years ago. He's one of my first guests, and his art has leapt. I don't know how much you pay attention. It's brilliant, man. So it's a good book, really good military action book. It's pretty cool.
It's like one of the things we were talking about where there's a lot of things you imagined about this job or being in this life, but there's some things you didn't think would happen. And one of the things that's the most exciting is that when a friend or someone you're just rooting for just hits the next level, just unlocks themselves, and sometimes right in front of you, like on a book you're working on. Oh my, it's you don't even know what to do with yourself. It's so exciting. Yeah. I honestly, the best example for me is Gatos with Pearl, the outstanding artist of Jessica Jones, just finding a whole different situation on Pearl. I'm like, oh my God, like I had to rethink every choice I was making. I'm like, okay, well, he's up here now, so I have to like get a stepladder and try to match him. Yeah.
Eventually, more Pearl.
More me and Gatos, that's for sure. We are locked in on a couple of projects. We did 3 volumes of Pearl. Loved doing Pearl, but it's such a balance of like, what do you want to spend more time on, and what are the new things you want to do, right? Like, and so like Pearl was like 4 or 5 years of us. That's a lot, right? And so we have a couple of projects lined up that are both new. Oh, that's exciting. That's more exciting. Like, again, kind of a high class problem, but it's what do you want to do with this collaboration energy? And always, and the answer always seems to be something new. It always seems to be the right answer.
That's cool.
But if tomorrow I go, oh my God, I have to do Pearl again. Pearl was one of the best experiences we ever had. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar gave us a quote.
I forgot about that. Yeah, man, you're right
It was
about
the
that.
weirdest thing. It was the strangest thing.
King of New York wants to know if you had any thoughts on Hickman's Ultimate Spider-Man.
I am. You're going to find a very, very complimentary voice to me with Hickman. I've always been a fan. I was one of the people rooting for him to walk in the door with Nightly News. What he's become and the chances he takes, I admire so much. And I've been reading a lot of Hickman lately, just catching up with stuff. I posted the other day, I'm like, Aliens versus Avengers was so good, like so good. So, and I don't think there's anyone in comics who has done more to yes and things I put into the toy box than him, in the nicest way. Sometimes are little things that maybe only he and I notice. Other things like Illuminati, just he takes to like these bigger degrees, like even like using gold balls as one of the biggest elements of his House of X. He's just always taking stuff and in the grand voice of like improv, just elevating and yes-anding everything that was there. So I find myself very moved by the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like it's just on top of being just dramatically entertained by the way he writes and constructs. I think also because he writes so differently than me. It's just a lot of fun to admire. Oh, you had the same toys in the same toy box and did something completely different. Well, loved it. Yeah, so I'm a big fan of the whole 2 years of this Ultimates thing was just completely well constructed, very well done. I was in meetings where they were trying to figure out what to do with the franchise, like post us, and they found it. And also like I felt like not being there for it was a good idea. Like we everyone was involved. First one should just get out of the way and let new people do whatever. And so all of it felt good to me. I hope that makes sense.
No, proof of concept. Absolutely. You're able to hand it off to a new team and they can do something interesting and different. And obviously, and that's Hallmark Hickman on everything he's touched. So,
and also, I also the weird benefit of like our books the old stuff keeps coming out in new editions. They just put another omnibus out last week, and you read comments from people. They have no idea how old this stuff is. They do not clock it as old. No, God bless that. Just the way it's packaged, even our Daredevil stuff, 25 years old. People are reading it like it's brand new, talking to us like it's brand new, and I'm relieved beyond measure. But if there was any like weird, I wish people wouldn't forget about our stuff. They're not. So I can enjoy his and enjoy them. It's all being enjoyed equally, and they're compared to favorably. It's the best. But I will say, for those, I'm gonna say this about a lot of creators, boy, if you like what John does at Marvel, you should really check out his creator-owned stuff.
Oh yeah, that goes without
saying. You really should. Boy, oh boy.
The 2 Moons stuff is coming out this summer from Dark Horse.
3 moons or 2 moons? 3 moons.
I thought it was 2 moons. Is it 3?
3 moons? Right. 2 moons? Some bunch of moons, but it's coming out at Dark Horse.
For you, 4 moons. How's that sound?
Well, the good news is I get them for free because they're coming out at Dark Horse. So with our mutual editor, Daniel Shaban, the excellent Daniel Shaban, who is conducting all that. So that's pretty exciting.
No, it's good stuff. And he works with great people,
He does.
Like, Spencer and
all those artists I've never got to work with.
And oh god damn it, Steve Wacker. I was going to say I couldn't think of Steve Wacker's name. Sorry, thank you very much, Ian. Yes, 3 worlds, 3 moons. Yes,
I was at 3.
You're right.
All right,
it's a magic number.
There you go.
Someone asked, I think it was Parker, asked. He lives in Prince Parker says, I live in Seattle. Can I take a class?
Well, I teach in Portland, here, Portland State, but I will give you, like, if you're in the mood, if you want to take a drive down, on May 16th, here in Portland, we're doing a free event at Portland State University. Everyone's invited, completely free. It's me, Kelly Sue DeConnick, David Walker, Diana Schutz, and everyone who works at the at Dark Horse and at the Portland State Comic Studies program, which is one of the premier comic studies programs. It's certified, and we have a lot of amazing students have come out of there. But what we do in celebration of the community that's been built around the classes is that there's a day called the Comics Confluence Festival. It's free. It's on campus. Come down, drive down from Seattle, have some Portland food carts, spend the day taking some classes from David and Kelly and some excellent programming. And I believe I'll be interviewing Mike Richardson there, and like all kinds of very cool stuff. And you can kind of get a vibe if this is what you like. Number two, if you want to take classes, but you can't get down here, you go to jinxworld.com. There are dozens of classes available for a very low price for you get to hear me talk to our friends and colleagues about very specific subject matter, whether it be like a creator spotlight like J.H. Williams or Kelly Sue DeConnick talking about mini comics, or just plot and character, just the basics. You can go behind there and then join the Discord where the conversation continues every day as we're there, like helping each other, answering each other's questions, supporting each other. Good. Come on down the 16th. Just make a weekend of it. And
I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's free. So, but yeah. So, and I will say that if you're on a creative journey and you have a question you need answered, you can reach out to me or any of my friends and you will get an answer. Like we're available 24/7. We are available. We know what it feels like to be sitting in your room going, I don't know what maybe I'm stuck here, or I need to know something I don't know. If you reach out to us, we will answer. Particularly if you buy any issue of any Jinxworld book, you get a free invite to the Jinxworld Discord. I'm there answering questions all day long. Not all day long, but when they come up, I answer them. There.
Carrie says she just joined Yearly Jinxworld.
Thanks. And yeah, again, tons of stuff and lots coming. I will be recording all of the panels at the Confluence Festival and posting them for everyone to have. I'm doing that now. Any situation I'm in where I'm thinking someone else might like this, I record it, whether I'm hosting another author or teaching a class somewhere, I start recording it. Because as you and I, even with all the recordings you and I have, there's all these things we go, why did we turn on recording for that? We were in a cool place doing a cool thing and we didn't record it. That's nuts. And then they go away. So we're creating an archive. Also included in the archive, John found every Powers conversation we've had over the last 20 blah years. And we have all of those too. So that's pretty cool.
I can refresh, I suppose, if again, you're always welcome to grab more stuff. I didn't know Humphries was doing Alias now.
Yes, and I will.
And he went, well, let me ask the question. Did Humphries come to you about it before taking it on? Well, I got to talk to Samala. That's awesome.
Well, okay. Well, yes, absolutely. You should talk to Sam. I literally just talked to Sam last night for a couple hours. So Sam is one of my closest friends, but he's also one of my favorite writers. And Dialogue for Hero is an incredible book that he did. And so he called me and goes, hey, if you want me to take over Jessica. And I was like, fuck yes, absolutely. And I completely stayed out of the way. Just didn't want to be, as much as I wanted to go, did you finish it? Can I read it? I didn't want it to be that, but I got to read it very early on, and I was thrilled to bits. First of all, the David Mack covers are excellent. The art is excellent, and the actual tone and shape of the actual Jessica Jones mystery is exceptional. And also he made a couple of references to things, the way me and Gators did things in the early days, just the way we set up some layouts he was referencing, and I really did appreciate him like kind of tipping his hat and adding to it at the same time. So yeah, high recommendation for the Alias Red Band. I think if you liked any of our issues of Alias, you'll absolutely love it. It's Jessica and Typhoid Mary kind of have to team up to solve a case that she's not allowed to solve, because spoilers, she doesn't have a private eye license anymore, because spoilers, her husband is the mayor and she's not allowed to do that. So there's a lot of tension in the, right? A lot going on in the family that wasn't there when I was writing the book. So you can really feel an elevated sense of where the whole family is. It's great.
Well, yeah, you know, I'm always happy to have a new excuse to talk to Sam. In fact, King of New York said, I heard Sam's new Avengers book was good. It was.
It's very good. Yeah, it's very good. Very different than what we did. Yeah.
That's the last time I talked to Sam, so that's wonderful.
He's also got a book coming out through Dark Horse with Kelly Sue DeConnitt called Skate Alley, ALI. Absolutely delightful book. Like a book that, like, I literally read it and then they sent it to me and I went, oh, Sam and Kelly made a book together. Like it doesn't read like either one of them, and to them together, it's like a new entity was born.
When's that? Do you know when that's coming out?
Pretty soon, I think. It's another Daniel Chabon Dark Horse.
There you go.
Whatchamacallit. But if you dig in what Kelly Sue's doing in the FML, Skate Alley in this right up your alley.
Yeah. No, that's exciting.
Really liked it.
That's like when Johns and Kurt Busiek did Superman and wrote together. It's like, oh, that's really interesting. It's cool when you and Hickman and then add in Fraction.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, good stuff.
Well, with me and Hickman, that was mostly Hickman. That was, I always felt like I took my name off that book as soon as possible. Well, it was like, it was an idea that I had and John was up for it, but John wrote it, right? Okay. So like in TV language, I would get credit, but like in comic book language, he's writing it. It's his book. Yeah.
That's cool. I suppose I have to ask, given what's happened this week, any thoughts on the Marvel downsizing?
I never like when there's a downsizing, particularly in editorial. I've only worked of those people. I worked with David Gabriel for a very long time.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, I literally, he had his hands in everything, as many people have pointed out, and a lot of your favorite stuff from the events, a lot of the best shtick that came out of like Civil War was birthed out of his office, and I had worked with, of the three editors gone, I only worked with Darren Shan, who was incredible. So I'm actually very sad that and looking forward to what their next chapter is, because they're just great. Yeah, he worked with me on Guardians of the Galaxy 10 years ago. We were about to cook something together here, but yeah, so it's show business, man. It's a bummer. Like how many times, like outside of publishing, that any of us have been like working on a project for any of the companies, and then you wake up one day, oh no, all those people are gone. It happened at DC, by the way, too. Like one day Dan was running DC, and the next day Dan's email is no longer in service. So it happens quickly. I've literally gotten emails from editors going, I think I'm being let go. I write back, their email had already been turned off. You don't even get to say goodbye in a normal way. So I don't love it, and it's sometimes there's always a better human way to do this kind of stuff, but it doesn't seem the way it goes.
No, there you go, man. I mean, it's tough. It's happened to me in broadcasting. It's happened.
It's happened every company I've ever been in. There's been some kind of expansion in whatever the opposite of expansion is. So, and you were asking, someone asked why the layoffs. This is corporate language and behavior beyond anything I ever consider. Like a lot of people online always want to guess, oh, it's because of this and because of that. It's almost never because of something you saw. It's because some bottom line, and someone upstairs said you have to cut this amount, and they have to find the best way to do that. And something happened in Indonesia with the streaming rights of a soccer event, and that money's gone. So now this has to go. It's always it's so rarely a direct result of something, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
In my experience.
you're right. Because again, I can point to the broadcast experiences I had, and it's like it was nothing that happened in Chicago. It was things out of New York and everything. No, that's what happens with corporate structure, man, and it sucks.
And I hope I'm not sounding at all like cavalier about it. It's just I used to work in local television. It happened there. I used to work at a newspaper. It happened there. It happens. And it's just, I don't know, just there's lessons to be learned sometimes, and sometimes there's not, but I do. And also I do know that lots of times when a door closes on someone, something amazing happens right around the other side. It's happened to many of my friends. So I try not to catastrophize something like this, because I've seen so many of my friends go, I'm going to start my own company. And then that was exactly what they should have done, So
sure. So Sean Edgar, I noticed, just went over to Kickstarter, and he's going to be in charge of Kickstarter and stuff. And I've worked with Sean for years. And good for him, man. And,
comics has a lot of like people moving around. Like I've had people like, I think we talked about this when I went to DC. I'm like, Jamie Rich used to edit Powers, and now Jamie Rich is editing my just like everyone's like, sometimes you feel like people get recast in your life if you're in the business for a long time. Yeah.
Let's see.
And also, someone wrote, B Things wrote, some industries just schedule periodic layoffs. That is
General Electric, Jack Welch. He would always cut the bottom 5% of earners and stuff at General Electric. It was kind of notorious for that. So,
and I'm always looking for like a learning moment with stuff like this, and that's why I'm a little more like, I've learned that just support the stuff you like, support the creators that you like, support the characters that you like. Just you vote with your pocketbook and you do your thing, and that's the best we can all do. Right. And for me and my friends, all we can do is I'm just not going to, I'm going to take full advantage of whatever experience I'm being offered today, because who knows if it'll be here tomorrow. Who knows?
We wouldn't have Image if all those guys didn't leave Marvel and gave us the 90s indie boom. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's one of literally dozens of stories in comics that have happened where someone decided, we had friends that thought Marvel was all for them, and then they got there, they go, no, it wasn't for me, but what is for me? And then they found a calling much higher than they thought they were capable of, both commercially and artistically. So it's happened a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you?
So I used to like when I was younger, like there's a I don't know if Ryan wants me to tell this story, but like there was years ago where like Marvel was offering Brian K. Vaughan something that I, as a fan, wanted him to do. And we knew each other since Cleveland. And I called him, even though we don't talk to each other. And I said, you should do this. And he goes, I don't want to do this. I want to do this. And I'm like, no, you should do this. I was like really like saying like I was right and you're wrong. He was completely right. I was completely wrong. But like, that's why I tend not to, that was a learning moment for me. Like, don't put your goals on other people. Like everyone has their own path, right? And not to be too zen about it, but it really, you do find that people have paths, and you gotta like just support them.
I'm checking the thing here while we're talking, because there's more comments.
Yeah, and now he wrote Doom 3, which is what I told him to do. No, I don't. It was decades before
that. Maybe it was that Lines of Baghdad. Right? Lines of Baghdad? I forget.
No, it was before that. It literally might have been like
why? Might have been why?
Yeah, it literally been that. No, but they were just like, yeah. Anyway,
here on that note.
All right. Did we miss anything here?
Yeah, Brian, you and I talked about it. I don't know if we did it on the air or not, but I was hearing Byron Allen, replacing Colbert, and it is so. Again, Carlin and I last week were talking. He's like, I saw one of those just flipping by late at night, and they had Judy Tenuta and David Brenner on. They're both dead, and there was no like tribute to or recorded in 2015 or whatever. But it's like, and I have a bad feeling that we're going to see dead comedians on Byron Allen's show.
Someone made a joke about that on social media the other day. Go, hey, let him air his What's Happening reunion episode, and whatever. Like, yeah, we'll see. I do believe in my heart this has got to be some kind of like temporary stopgap until they figure out what else they want to do with the space.
Yeah, but I mean, on the one hand, they don't want to give that time away again to the locals. That would be stupid. but you know, television
It's such a
watching is so
different world.
different. Right?
It's such a different world. We grew up in the 90s where late night was making so much money for them.
Right.
That I remember someone said something like NBC could go dark all day and just so Carson and Letterman and be in the red, right? Or in the black. Like that's how powerful money-making machines those two shows are, right?
Well, and
that's just not the way it is anymore.
And people would go to bed watching late night, and then they'd turn on their TV, and the Today Show would be on. So no, it was very, very important.
Or they said people fall asleep and wake up to the Today Shows.
Sure.
Like the TV on all night. Yeah,
sure,
yep.
Absolutely.
Just different habits. Again, we're a different generation. Like my kids have no relationship to late night television or any of that stuff. No. Like every once in a while, I'll show them something from Saturday Night Live that I think might be of interest to them, but they know that's not how their entertainment comes to them at all.
Have you watched SNL UK?
Hell yes. Oh yes. Oh well. I'm a big giant comedy nerd. It's genuinely interesting listening to the Lonely Island podcast and hearing like Seth Meyers kind of tee up what the experience of going over there and helping them was.
Oh, I'm gonna have to listen to that. Cool.
He went over there and helped them. Tina Fey went over. Tina Fey was over there for weeks helping them.
I knew that.
I think as these things go, and we've seen like a lot of like an SNL wannabes over the years and like sketch comedy shows that just didn't find their footing. I thought they hit the ground running pretty strong. I laughed at some of the critique that it wasn't British enough. I'm like, my God, how much British could it be? It's you know, I do, and I love British comedy. And I don't know, it just really struck me well. If you get a chance, just watch the. I mean, they're not all winners. It's like SNL, like there's this, but the writing quality of the news is so fierce and so different than what will air on American broadcast television. Just like the shiv that they're willing to give on the news is just a delight. It just is.
It fascinated me because there's a couple British pop culture shows I follow just to hear what's going on with British pop culture. Sure. And they're like, I don't know, man, live. And they're like freaking out. And it's like, you guys have been doing sketch nonstop before Python, the Goons, radio. It's like sketch is just in your British comedy DNA.
Yeah. I was confused by all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, Ben Edlund, not Ben Edlund, that's your guy. Ben.
The Tip, the creator of the Tip.
Who also worked with you on Powers. Yeah, great guy. The Surfer Man. I love that dude. No, Ben, the guy who created the Young Ones. And it was he was Rick Mayall's like protege.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but yeah, I'm sorry.
So anyway, that's what I'm talking. All right, Chad, help us out, man. But help me, Obi-Wan.
It's coming. It's coming.
But he was on a show called Saturday Night, and it was a sketch show. Now, it was taped, but it was taped in front of an audience, and it was good. So that's why I'm like, I don't know why you guys are freaking. Like, this is going to be fine. And
well, see, I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. The audience isn't staying with it. I don't know if it's long for this earth, but I'm glad they.
Oh, really? Have the numbers been
I saw a 40% drop off, which isn't great, but again,
they're only doing 8. And I mean, and then they're gonna, that's the.
We'll see. I don't know again, this is like, do the numbers in America help? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what keeps them on the air. Like the algorithm is different than just local ratings. So we'll see.
Well, and also I know it's an expensive show, and the pop culture show was talking about that, but it's great. And also, that's awesome if you want to make it live. But honestly, I would stick with this cast. And if it's cheaper to tape it. These guys are good. I think they're really good.
They're really good. And also from something like this, like the Dana Carvey show, or like, even if this doesn't land, you could tell like a handful of these people are going to really land hard somewhere else.
You're right about that.
Yeah. Like, people forget like the Dana Carvey show was a gigantic bomb that starred Stephen Carell and Steve Colbert. And like everyone on it was just like a home run player a year before they became a home run player. Right.
All the writers too.
Yeah. All the writers. Yeah. So, so we'll see. Another comedy thing that I did see that is really, you got to look for, is a movie called Nirvana, the show, the band, the movie. And,
what's it streaming on?
I don't know if it's streaming anywhere. I think you have to like find it or buy it, but it is you can look for the trailer, but it was a kind of not even like a comedy show, not unlike the Detroiters, where these two goofballs are trying to get their dreams going, and they're like, and the joke is that they're hyperly knowledgeable about all things about music, except they didn't know there was another band called Nirvana, so they call themselves Nirvana, and so they've made a movie, a very Canadian movie, like as Canadian as anything that's ever been, and it's a movie filled, it's a low budget movie, but it's filled with like, how did you do that? Like a lot of like, that's funny. How did you do that? And that's quite why you kind of go to the movies is like, well, I don't know how you did that. And so that's been my obsession this week. It's like everyone's saying, don't know anything more about it than this. Just walk in cold, let it happen. Don't let anyone spoil anything, and see what you think at the end, and see how you're feeling about it in 2 weeks. It's got a real it's like what I felt watching Raising Arizona for the first time. Like you're like, what is this? Delightful madness. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of Canadian comedy like that, and that really is idiosyncratic to, whether it's farmland Canada or urban Canada. No, Kim's Convenience, I adored that show. And,
but this goes back even decades before. But like, why was SCTV so poignant to American culture? It's because they were watching us. They weren't part of us. They were watching and observing and commenting on us from a separate space, and that's where Jim Carrey came from. That's where Kids in the Hall came from. Like this, just 30 degrees to the left of, and how to comment on it. And I will say, I think that this Nirvana the movie, Kids in the Hall, and the Nirvana the movie felt very much in that same vein as Second City and Kids in the Hall of great Canadian comedy. Like, yeah.
If we were talking about Ken Finkelman, the guy who did The Newsroom, which was like The Office, it was before The Office. It was kind of a Larry Sanders parody, but about a 24-hour Toronto news station.
Who was in it?
Oh God, it's all Canadians. It's but Ken Finkelman was the guy who made it, and he ironically he made Head Office, that Judge Reinhold 80s movie with a million Canadians.
Really, I know that one. Yeah.
Come on, Dave Wakeling doing the soundtrack. The English Beat did the soundtrack to it, and then he also did. And I will slightly defend Airplane 2. He directed Airplane 2, which had a lot of clips of Airplane 1. But, as sequels go, there's Sonny Bono is funny in it. Shatner is funny in it.
Shatner's kind of funny in it. Like, Shatner is in on the joke on that one, right? If I remember it correctly. I literally don't think I've seen it since 1979.
I happened to see it because I was looking up Ken Finkelman stuff, and I'm like, I'll watch Airplane 2 again.
You were in a Ken Finkelman hole. All right. That's very funny.
He had a show called More Tears that was very surreal. And it was made in the 90s. The same character that he played in The Newsroom. He's like this. He's the producer, but he's very shallow and ridiculous. It's a very, very good show, The Newsroom. You can find
also The Rise and Fall of Reggie Jenkins, which is the Tracy Morgan show, is quite excellent. Oh, cool. You'll love it. You will love it.
I love I liked Last OG or whatever. The TNT show he had.
This is sports related. I don't want to call him Harry Potter. It's what the fuck is Harry Potter's name?
Harry Carey?
No, Daniel Radcliffe. He's so not Harry Potter anymore. Like calling him Daniel Radcliffe is in it. The fact that Daniel Radcliffe and Tracy Morgan are a great comedy duo is quite delightful. The writing is exceptional. Yeah,
sure.
Check it out.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And Bobby Moynihan is also in it. He's incredible. For those who don't know, Bobby Moynihan has a Batman podcast on Comedy Bang Bang that I've been on. It's an incredible podcast.
I didn't know that.
For years, he plays Batman. He plays Christian Bale's Batman. It starts with him going, "Where is she?" Like that's the podcast, right? And then it's just Bobby spinning out of. So he'll have him as Batman interviewing people who may or may not have killed his parents. So it's a lot of other comedians who do an impression of, like, one of his friends happens to do a dead-on impression of Dwayne Johnson. So it's Batman interviewing Black Adam about the change in the DC universe, and it's all a very loose premise for him just to goof around for an hour and just do Batman jokes. And I got to do the show. I was such a big fan. I got to do the show. He is an incredible talent, Bobby Moynihan.
Were you yourself, or were you a character?
Yeah, I know. I don't know him at all, other than I said, man, I love this fucking podcast. It's rather my favorite Batman thing, right? And he goes, you want to come on? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll come on. And he goes, do you want to come on as you or as a character? I go, well, do you think I'm studying at the Groundlings? I don't have a character. What am I gonna?
You could have done Hugo Strange, man.
It's
a natural, absolutely, man.
I was so honored by the momentary ask, but it was much more interest in me coming on and interviewing Batman as a writer.
Why don't you send me this stuff? I would totally.
It's behind the paywall. It's literally one of my favorite things I've ever done in my life. You could literally hear us like just enjoying the shit out of each other like halfway through. He literally started just showing me things in his office on Zoom. He's pretending he's Batman, but showing me his Batmobile that he built. Anyway,
that sounds great, man.
Yeah, it was great. It was tremendous.
What's the name of the show?
It's called The Batman, Batmin. I do believe there's a super cut of him doing it. He did it on Comedy Bang Bang for years. Bobby is one of us. Let me say, I have seen his office. Like he is one of those art and comics and Funko Pops, and he is one of us. And
that's like Scott Adsit from 30 Rock was and is.
Yeah, is. There's quite a few people like that, like Dave Mandel, and But anyway, so he'd been coming on as Batman to Comedy Bang Bang and just going, "Where is she?" Like that's the bit. And then they podcasted. They found a shape for it. So, yeah,
that's cool. For All Mankind, have you started?
I've not watched it yet. It is on my list for a couple of reasons. I know something. Matt and I are working on a show for Apple right now, and I know something happened with the new season that was brought to our attention. Hey, take a look at this swing. And so I'm dying to get into it. There's a couple things over there that are on my list, so I will get to them soon.
Well, like you were saying about
that Sugar with Oh
yeah, the detective thing.
There's a swing there too that I'm not allowed to say what the swing is.
Was it
Colin Farrell? Colin
Farrell, that's right.
Yeah. But there's a surprise there too. Like Apple has a lot of shows that we're saying it's one thing, but then watching you'll find out what it really is.
I'm psyched for Cantwell's show in May that's coming up on AMC Plus. God damn it, what the hell's the name of it? I can't think of it now. It takes place in an asylum. It's a horror thing. And something in silver.
No, I don't know.
But that's the subtitle. But CC Pounder is in it, and Stephen Root. Really cool cast.
Cool.
And also, by the way, back to Jeremy Hahn. I'm so happy for him. The Beauty was great. I don't know if you watched it.
You didn't see it? No.
It was
I
excellent.
haven't watched it, but yeah.
Boys is killing it.
There's so much stuff.
I know, Estelle. You're right. Suddenly we're playing dominoes. You're right, Estelle. You're absolutely right.
Too much
stuff. It's true. Let's see.
Hey, there's a couple of people saying they've been like rereading our stuff.
Cantwell,
the Terror. I actually did hear about that. Yeah.
Yes.
So fingers crossed. Yeah, I hope it's great. I really liked his last comic. But hey, for people saying they've been like reading Avengers or Daredevil, hey man, that's really cool. Thank you. That's really, really, really cool. And we do hear from people all the time. It's quite lovely.
Absolutely. Oh, B Thinks wants us. I'm sorry, that's not B Thinks. Colbris says a little bit older news, but and can you say anything about HBO and Cover?
Yeah, nothing right now. We a few years ago, again, it's been like 6 years already. David and I have a book called Cover that we really love, and it got picked up for an animated project at Warner Brothers. Everyone talking about how the plate spin. Everyone involved with that part of that company was let go right in the middle of us developing, and a bunch of other things too. They're actually new 6 or 7 other projects that if I said them out loud, you'd go, no, that were comic book related. And I was excited just if any of this was to see the light of day, and none of it did. It just, the ship changed, that's what happened. But cover is, and it's something I'd actually like to do as a live action animated hybrid. And I'm going to have a talk with Dark Horse about that in the near future. Once we everything gets settled on Powers and we're in a nice place, cover is on my list of things that I would like to do. So I feel very strongly about it. But thank you for asking. Awesome. Yeah. And if you haven't read the book, read it. It's David Mack at his absolute best. Just incredible artwork by David.
What was this one nice comment that somebody said about how way to go as far as your longevity in the biz? And they were very impressed given all the ups and downs that have been happening, that you're still making nice stuff. I'm sorry, it's in the chat somewhere here.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. I'm very, very lucky. Me and a lot of my friends, we've been able to not only hang on, but hang on by our own terms, which is very cool. And a lot if you take, and it's hard to word, but like when you buy our books, you're kind of voting for us to get to stay for a little while longer. So you even rereading a book like that and voicing your thing, it just, thank you. You keep us here. Like it's incredible. Some of it for me has been some just lucky breaks. Like Miles opened up a lot of doors for me that I get to try things that I did not think I would be able to try in my lifetime. Jessica Jones is back on TV. I mean, there's like things that keep happening that are delightful and wonderful that allows me to take big swings on stuff like that. And even like, I didn't know if I would ever come back to Marvel in any way, shape, or form, because it's like I left. You leave, you don't get to come back. And having found a way back in that feels nice and warm has been delightful too. So it's not only that we get to stay, is that we get to stay and feel. Thank you, man. I don't know. It's just the gift isn't lost on me or my friends. We do talk about it, like how lucky we are that we get to keep going. It's kind of like I've a lot of work to do this year. That's an incredible feeling for anybody in any field. That's a relief beyond measure. So yeah, and I'm also I think I'm just in love with how much, like we talk about some of the the layoffs and stuff, but there's also a lot of growth in our industry in a lot of spaces, like a lot of graphic novel space that wasn't there 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, that we get to either watch people explode and try new things in, or we get to be part of it too. I have a couple graphic novels coming out from places that weren't making graphic novels years ago, but are now in the next couple of years, that is a completely different experience than what I've had before, like we had on Phenomena, the book series I did with Andre. These are opportunities that I couldn't even have dreamt of. They did this. None of this existed, So yeah, thank you. And also, yeah, if there's a lesson that we've learned from any of this, is that you have to treat every project, whether you're returning home or not, as if it's the first thing anyone's ever seen by you. Every book is like new. You can't rely on anything that happened before, as although they'll come with us. You have to treat everything like it's brand new and show people what you've done and why it's special and why it's worth their money. It's an expensive habit. You want to make sure that everything's worth the money people are paying for, I think about it all the time.
Fair enough.
All right. How would I feel back if they brought back Victoria Hand? I would be okay with that. I like Victoria. I think they killed her in 2 different mediums. Am I right about that? I think they killed her on TV and in the comics, but it's okay. Again, right. I said I have moited some people's favorite characters. If I'm going to play the game, I got to play both ways. I can't be.
I got to be honest. I'm still mad at you for killing Hector, the White Tiger. I liked Hector.
Yeah. Yes.
I got no problem with his niece. Don't get me wrong.
No. I even then it was. I was like I knew like some people would be upset, even though the character really had not seen a comic page in 8 years between the time I killed him and that. Like that was part of my like final is this okay for me to do? And I do believe that was when I said, do you think this is okay? And Joe goes, someone's going to kill Jessica Jones. And you're just going to have to put up with it. So.
Absolutely. Let's see. Let's see. Given that there's so much Powers now, any interest from you, Oming, or Dark Horse to get Powers released into omnibuses again?
Yeah, I do. We do have a Powers omnibus that Marvel put out. I'm of two minds. We have the library that's out was a curated format that I think is best suited for that material. Like I want you to read it. Like I want it to be. Sometimes omnibus is almost like too precious to like, or too big to like. And I like that too. I do. I have a lot of my work is an omnibus form. I love it. It makes me feel good. But I also want you to be able to shove it in your bag and take it with you on a trip. Yeah. And Powers has always had like a pulp nature to it that I kind of wanted to retain as well. So we've done hardcovers and soft covers, but this format we do at Dark Horse, I really feel like this is like the best of both worlds. It's being treated with respect, but it's also you can take it on the go if that makes sense. But we want to see like if the show makes it to air, then may bring us opportunities to try other things with it as well. So we'll see.
Very cool.
But we had to go back to print on a couple recently, just from the announcement of the TV show. We had to go back to print on a couple of the early things. I was like, oh, what a gift! Thank you so much for buying these.
Are you sticking with 12 issues for this current run?
So this storyline, it's an ongoing, but this storyline is 12. So someone put in the machine where it says 1 of 12. It's just a 12 issue story. Okay. After the 12, we're taking a small break to bring back the ones, which I'm dying to bring back. Jacob and I have been working on. We have some excellent news about the ones coming up. You'll hear about it soon. We'll get on and talk about it. That'll come out. And then also, I think I did mention when we brought back Powers, Mike and Taki and I were in the middle of another project that we paused because we wanted to take advantage of the Powers 25th anniversary. So we're going to put out that project too. So we're going to put out the ones, a new project by me, Mike and Taki that we've already almost finished. So it's like, and then right back to Powers. So that, and there's a couple of other projects, one with Sam Humphries, and a couple other friends that I've been slow cooking over at Dark Horse. And what a mistake I made in the past was putting out too many creator-owned books at the same time. They kind of eat each other a little bit, or one gets eaten by the other one. Sure. And so we kind of want to do one at a time so I can focus my attention in marketing and your attention. I just buy this right now, and we'll get to the other one right next to it. So that, again, the market keeps changing. Who knows? And maybe next year I'll feel differently about it. But it just seemed with the very loud market that we have right now, like one book at a time is a much better way to do things, especially High Class Problem. I have so many other books on the market coming out from Marvel and Dark Horse and this reprints of stuff that comes out that people think are new. So, yeah. King asked me, you love when I collaborate with David Marquez. Me too. I absolutely love David. David and I have a creator-owned book that we have finished that is coming out. Hasn't been announced yet, from one of the other major publishers that isn't like one of the traditional bookstore publishers. I don't even know what anything's referred to anymore. But like we did Phenomena at Abrams, we're doing a graphic novel together at another publisher. It is being colored right now, and it's gorgeous. So
excellent. Parker wants spoilers for the Miles Superman story. It's only 5 pages, buddy.
They both die horribly. They
there
both.
You go.
Yeah, no. It's a moment between the two. It is Miles taking advantage of a moment of going, "Hey, the guy who invented this is here. I have a question," and having that moment between them, and you get Sarah Pichelli being awesome.
And I will always give it up to Sarah Pichelli because she had a nice depiction of Principal Suntress, which I always.
She did. He may be coming back soon. Who knows?
Anyway. I thought he did. Oh, that's good. I haven't seen him since Somni drew him.
If we can bring back Jack of Hearts, we can bring back Principal Sutress.
There's
been a lot going on in the multiverse. There's a lot of Suttresses out there. Slasher, just I did give my thoughts on David Gabriel and other people being let go. So scroll on back. We did talk about that.
Rewind is your friend. We've been going
also also just be clear. I'm not in the office. I don't work there like I used to. I'm just a contracted author for them, so I can only speak from experience. But like I'm like a lot of people, only surmising with a little bit of education on it.
The Gear Mango wants to know how you feel about comic book promoters from outside the industry. It seems like unless you're looking for a specific comic, you'll never find it.
It is a struggle that has been going on my entire time in comics and before. It is people who love comics, and they know where to get them, and they know where they are, and they know where to find information about them. And God bless all of us. But there's also people you want to go, hey, you know what? I bet people who like this TV show would love to read this comic. So I'm thrilled that Marvel has that QR code at the end of Daredevil saying, hey, get a free comic. First one's free. And DC doing similar things on the James Gunn projects where there's references. So this was based on a comic. You should go buy it. So that plus every once in a while, like the compact format that DC's done, even though I feel like they've always been doing those formats, but for some reason, this compact one really seems to land with people. It's cool. I feel like it's always been that format.
I don't remember that size. I got to be honest. No, I really don't.
Like the Marvelverse books are that size. It just feels like there's always a slightly smaller version. No, God bless. It totally works. I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm just saying that sometimes it's just the right time and the right format.
Well, other publishers have certainly had that size before. Sure, IDW did as well, or close to it. So no, I know what you mean. But I bought Ed and Darwin's Catwoman stuff. You know?
Exactly. Well, and to your point, it's like for some of us who are lucky enough or wired to like go on a Bobby Moynihan podcast, which is going to be filled with people who don't normally read comics, or some of the movie podcasts that I do, I specifically do because you know what? I do think some of our fellow movie nerds would go nuts in a comic store. Would go nuts in a comic store. And they just don't think about it. So trying to like just friendly kind of like invite them in, like, you know, hey, if you like the boys, you should really come over. There's way more stuff like that over here. You don't have to wait 2 years for another season. It's all there waiting for you. So so that I agree with you. Comics always need more promotion. But people, I have friends that are in traditional book publishing who are musicians. Everyone feels how hard it is to promote anything because there's so much content, which is great, but it's also hard to get any kind of real wind going under your sails if like 3 or 4 stories are always the ones taking up the airspace. Like if Taylor Swift is always in the headlines, there's maybe 25 other singer-songwriters that are not going to get their album promoted this year. And that's not Taylor Swift's fault. And I'm just saying that it always feels like there's a few people that don't get the promotion they deserve. And oh my God, if only, right? So we all try our hardest to promote these things. And the best thing we have always discovered is word of mouth. Nothing beats word of mouth. I can sing the praises of my friends and up all day, but when you're at a comic store and you see someone like Hickman and Han at the thing and you go, hey dude, seriously, read Assorted Crisis Events, no, that will go way stronger than anything people read online or any creator hyping their own work. If you work behind a counter or just in a comic store and you want to offer someone your gentle opinion, that really gets a lot of sales going.
Very true. King wanted to know what your thoughts were on the Ironheart show.
Oh, delighted, beginning to end. I'm so happy it came out. It was #1 the whole time it was on the Disney Plus there. That was crazy. It feels like another universe or something. Like because I got pretty beaten up online for Ironheart when she debuted. It was just and now there she was #1 on Disney Plus. I'm like, awesome. Yeah. So
Very cool.
yeah, really, really happy about it. People really seem to like. I got a lot of compliments from people about it. They really seem to dig it.
That's cool. Here, Prince Parker want to know what movie podcasts you like.
Oh, I love Blank Check. I really recommend it. They've been on for like 10 years, and they'll do like just one director. Like they did a whole year with just the Coen brothers last year. It was maybe one of the best years of any podcast I've ever heard. Just tremendous. I got to do one episode with them. I got to do the Raiders of the Lost Ark episode, which I was very, very emotional about. I'm really happy I got to do that. Another one that's behind the Comedy Bang Bang wall is called Scott Hasn't Seen, and it's Scott Aukerman, who runs Comedy Bang Bang, has this list of movies that it's almost sinful that he hasn't seen them, and him and Sean Diston host the show. I've been on the show. Matt's been on the show. Charles Soule's been on the show. And Mitch, lots of comic people, lots of comic comedians have been on the show. We pick the movie we think Scott should see. And a lot of us have picked some real winners, and some of us have really messed with him. Chip Zdarsky came on and picked Catwoman and pissed him off so much. It was so great. So yeah, I highly recommend that one too. And that's also great, like hearing Fraction talk about Old Boy and comics at the same time is the only place you're really going to hear that. It's really kind of cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That sounds amazing. Colbert says, I'm sure you saw Gail Simone's appreciation.
I did.
Yeah, that was nice, man. So,
well, I'll say the only reason I knew that was necessary is because Gail had posted that. I wasn't aware of I was getting dinged, but I have been dinged before by the same person over the years. I don't think it's based on anything other than that where that person is. But Gail is someone obviously a lot of us admire a great deal, and really, I don't know, it was really sweet of her. I unnecessary and very sweet. I told her privately how lovely that was of her. So,
yeah, pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
Josh,
and for everybody who commented under there, thanks. I don't know how to respond to anything like that online, whether it's positive or negative. So I just don't. I just figure these conversations aren't for me. I just, so I just move on. But it was super sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. King says
Tom Tamer reminded me, How Did This Get Made is an excellent podcast, and it's also probably low-key very influential on me. There is something about the way Jason Mantzoukas talks about genre that has maybe changed me over the years. I highly recommend How Did This Get Made. Literally any episode, but the last few episodes, they just did The Forbidden Dance. They just did Rad. They just did some incredible episodes that I highly recommend.
Let's see here. We can, otherwise I'm trying to see. Everyone's, commenting on Gail being high class.
Yeah. Always has been, always will be. It's really funny because our relationship, like 15 years ago when Twitter was a different Twitter, which is us subtweeting shit at each other, totally jokes. Like I would just I remember she had a character named Gus Beezer.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and I just would goof on Gus Beezer, and then I created Ultimate Gus Beezer and Ultimate Spider-Man and murdered him, just goofing around with each other. And she was doing Catman stuff. And we didn't really know each other. It was just that was our relationship. What you saw online, it was that. So it was nice that from there spawned such a lovely note from her. Yeah. So.
No, she and Scott are great. Her husband's fantastic too. They're great.
We've had a couple of awesome dinners together over the years. So
that's cool. Yeah. No, they're when I see them at cons, they're amazing. King says I saw Josh Williamson in an interview a few months ago, and he mentioned how great it was being in your class, and that you called him very ambitious.
Well, he was right. No, he was. I think he was in my first semester I ever taught college class. I had a semester where a few of the students really ended up like getting it together. That was I can't even imagine what I sounded like in that class. I was like no idea what I was doing. But I love teaching. I've had quite a few of our students, David and I teach together, David Walker and I have found their space in either editorial or in authorship. and we've been doing it long enough where some of them now have like sustained careers, and it's not because of us, but it's just you're happy you were there for it. You're happy you were like helping them move the boat down the river. If there's any other kind of like you're going anyhow. I'm just happy to help. You know, it's really a very cool thing. If anyone is feeling wired to teach, you should pursue it. It's some people don't feel that pull at all. I have friends that they'll go, why? Literally say, why do you do this? Like I don't. And other friends of mine go,
I did it for a semester.
Wasn't for you. Yeah,
not for me.
Again, no judgment. It's not, but other people, I can feel them. They feel a calling and they don't follow it. And I'm like, oh yeah, you should try it, even for like a summer or something, even like a 1 or 2 off, boy. Because if you are wired for it, it is deeply rewarding.
Well, you know, I'm good one-on-one, and in fact, tomorrow morning I've got a breakfast with a friend who wants to start a podcast, and I'm like, hey, you got my full attention. Yeah. But in classes, it's tough because, you know, and I mean, obviously, I would say in a class like yours, everyone's there that really wants to do this. I don't know what kind of attrition there is from taking your class and the ones that don't end up, you know, following it beyond taking the class.
No, it's a nice mix. There's some people who go, and this happened to me. So that's the first thing I said. They go, I came here to be a writer. I think I want to be an editor. Like you get a hold of Daniel Shabon comes into class and they go, oh no, that's the part I like. I'm like, I went to art school. Like I am not the path I thought I was at your age, right? So wherever it takes you, God bless. Don't worry about that. And also we have people who come in and they want to be an author of a type, and they want to take in all the different literatures, and that's exciting as well. Like you don't have to be making graphic novels and you come out of this, or yeah, it's like a mix of. It's just they're finding their path. I did see
The Secret Invasion.
If you can't do teach, listen. Yes, but also I think what's great about a lot of comics classes is that it's a lot of working creators, like coming from the job and telling you what's happening right now. I could feel it with our students. And like David Walker is literally out promoting a book while he's teaching them about the book he made. It's a very different vibe because it's like, oh, you're not just theorizing. You're literally saying this is what happened to me. And also we like to tell, part of our teaching both on Jinxworld and here is let's talk about failing. Not everything works. Sometimes it doesn't work at all. You try really, really hard and it just didn't work. It just wasn't the right time, or you didn't have the right take, or whatever. But from that failure comes such, you learn so much about yourself and where you're headed or what you can do next, that when I'm messing up, my body reacts differently now. My body reacts like, oh, good, something's good's about to happen, because something good's about to happen. But this, and I've talked about this with you before, this Instagram world we live in, where everyone's trying to show themselves at their very best all the time, or these reality baking shows that either you're the best baker or you're terrible. And that's not true either. Like neither of these things are actually factually true to what it's like to live a creative life, right?
Yeah.
You take swings, some of them hit, some of them miss, some of them don't. Some of them don't hit now, but 8 years later, someone's going, hey, that was a good one. Like that happens to so many people, so many movies. Sure. They were talking on Scott Hasn't Seen about how William Friedkin's Sorcerer came out 2 weeks after Star Wars, and everyone went, fuck you. And then 20 years later, everyone goes, oh, that might be your best one. And he had to wait 20 years for that, right?
Yep.
And it's happened to all kinds of people in comics. It's happened to, where books that people think were like the number one books of a time because they've lasted, but they weren't hits when they came out.
100%. Yeah. No question about that. The Gear Mango says, was the ending to Secret Invasion always planned? I love your Avengers run, but I always felt that everyone captured being alive and well was a bit weird.
Well, not everyone was alive, right? But the ending was, to answer the question, not to get into the weeds on the wording, yes, it was fully planned. And I have gone on record, even on this very podcast, about how Joe Quesada was way more into the fallout of Secret Invasion than he was in telling the story of Secret Invasion. Like he was like, oh, the Norman Osborn Dark Avengers thing, let's get to that as soon as possible. That sounds great. So that was in the pitch, that was in the document, that was like approved over all things. The maneuvering of who's alive and who's a Skrull and who's coming back and who's that was curated over a nice period of time. We had a lot of time to like think about it. Like it was in my pitch for New Avengers #1. I didn't think it was going to be its own miniseries, but I thought by issue 50, we're going to reveal all the Skrulls, right? That was like the secret. So only a few people knew that, Tom being one of them. And then after House of M and Civil War, the market had changed to the point where I believe Dan Buckley says, no, this is the summer. The Skrulls are the summer. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm of course not going to turn that down, but I thought I had done my event. So, but now I got to do this. So it was always planned. The only thing that changed when it became a summer event was how we would give out the information. Like when is Elektra, the spoiler from 20 years ago, when is Elektra Skrull going to drop? When will these things happen? And then, as I said many times, one of the great moments of Secret Invasion is how well curated Tom had it editorially, where he was like, everyone has to tell me, everyone pitch who you want to be a Skrull, or if you want in at all, you don't have to be a part of this at all. But if you want in, tell us who and tell us where and tell us how, because what we don't want to do is, haha, it's a Skrull in every book for 6 months. That would be as literally hearing the same joke over and over and over and over again. It would bomb. But like let's pick 6 to 8 reveals that would be very cool and surprising, and no more. And like no one off the reservation. And it was curated so well that's my favorite part of the whole thing. So yeah, the ending is what the ending was always supposed to be. And also because someone was so many pieces on an event like that, so many pieces are on the table that you can't just get willy-nilly and start changing things up. Like you've kind of promised everybody, we're going to do this with Fantastic Four and this with Spider-Man and this, so it's part of architecting stuff like this is once you've made your choice, you stick to the choice.
Since superheroes covers so many genres, do you have an approach to figuring out what is the dominant genre of a given superhero, what it should be, or what? Well,
it's a great question, and I think part of my special sauce going in from day one was I came in as a crime writer. I came in as a crime fiction writer, and I was obsessive about what the rules of crime fiction were, what the rules of film noir were. There were some like literally a 10 commandment rules that some great authors and cinematographers had laid down that I was applying to my work. And then when I got the call to do Daredevil and Spider-Man, it was very easy for me to take my crime fiction toolbox and plop it right onto them, particularly Daredevil, which has always been like a pulp crime book more than it was a superhero book. And Spider-Man was always street level, dealing with the Kingpin for decades. So there's always this crime element to it. So I could find my way in. And there's been other writers that started as fantasy writers. I can think of quite a few of them that started in fantasy, and they came in to the same characters with their rules of fantasy and applied them directly to whatever they were doing and got equally awesome results. So it isn't so much that to me that superheroes have genres. It's the authors that are smart enough to take something from outside of superheroes and bring it on in. Something I talk about a lot about comics in general. Sorry, I know the couple people here have heard me say this a couple times. I apologize. But years ago, I saw this documentary where Sting was talking about the rock star, not the wrestler, was talking about how rock and roll was a bastard medium because it always thrived when someone brought something else from outside and brought it in. Like if someone brings in opera or country or jazz into rock and roll, it elevates, something else happens, right? if you're just imitating other people's rock and roll voices, if you're just doing Buddy Holly or just doing Elvis, you're just going to sound like a version of, probably lesser than version of this original thing. But if you pull something from outside of it, you can sound like something new, right? And it hit me in that moment, the comics, when I was trying to like figure out like what is this alchemy, this strange alchemy of comics that I don't fully wrap my head around. I literally was in this theater watching this documentary going, oh my God, comics are a bastard art form. They're not screenwriting. They're not line art. They're not painting. They're not digital. They're all of these things mixed together. And when someone comes in and they pull from a philosophy or an idea of different mediums from outside the comics medium and apply it to, you're almost destined to be successful either creatively or commercially because you've found something new to stay with it. Yeah.
King, I remember either talking to you or Slot about this, but he wanted to know, did you ever consider having Hank Pym to be a Skrull before his domestic abuse incident, or did you feel it was an important moment in the character's history to keep it?
I did, but didn't he have, and forgive me, I always had a bad taste in my mouth with the Hank Pym. Like, it doesn't make you want to write the character. Like, it's just, it's a subject I hate. And a big controversial take. I'm not a big fan of domestic abuse. And
but do you think it should have been wiped away? Because I know what you're saying. Because it makes.
But
him
Jim
a more
Shooter did it.
character.
Didn't Jim Shooter make him? Like,
I could not. Erase that.
I think Jim Shooter, this character had a history of this. Did he slap Jan like in the 80s, yeah. Like when I was a kid? I remember seeing that. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I don't remember who originally did it. And maybe somebody does here in the chat can say. But it's. Yeah,
I always kind of wrote that in the few times I wrote Hank Pym, which is basically an Age of Ultron. It was always like this broken version of the others. Yeah, Shooter. I'm sorry I don't have the exact. I'm not Mark Waid. I don't know the exact numbers of the things, but I had a very strong impression of, again, and then this is reading stuff before social media. So when you're reading, you're alone in the room going, oh, something ugly just happened in my book. Why did that just happen? Or something amazing just happened. Why that just happened?
When Slott was writing Mighty Avengers, he had Hank in that group. And again, it made him a flawed character. So Gear Mango, I don't know if you ever read it, but I would go to your Marvel Unlimited and check out Mighty Avengers by Slott, and you'll see a lot of good Hank Pym stuff.
Yeah. I don't think it's ever going to be me who does it. So yeah, but yeah, you're right. Dan had a take on it. Yeah.
So 213, Avengers 213, according to the chat. Thank you, Slasher.
That sounds right. Well, along with that, Avengers 200. Oof. Google it.
I will, because again, this is my Marvel blind spots.
Avengers 200 is when Carol Danvers gets surprisingly pregnant.
Right.
Okay. Baby comes out in like 2 weeks or a week or something.
Oh yeah,
comes out as a fully formed human man who said, "Oh, I'm here from another dimension. I'm a prince from another dimension. I'm here to marry you." And they left. They went off and got married, and then it's true, and it's George Perez drew it, which makes it all the more hauntingly like, oh. But if you then get to read Avengers Annual 10, which is Chris Claremont and Michael Golden, one of the great comics of all time.
I know that's your favorite. Yes,
it's my favorite. Also, it's because Chris Claremont is literally yelling at Jim Shooter about what a terrible idea Avengers 200. Because Carol Danvers comes back and goes, "Did you all just let me leave with a baby that really let the other writer have it in a way that I don't think you could do today." Yeah,
that sounds
highly recommended.
Chris Claremont, very nice. Excellent.
No, he really was yelling like the character going, "What the fuck did you just do to me?" Yeah,
that's funny. No, that's much like Supergirl's relationship with Comet, the Superlord.
So Gear, we're talking about the same thing. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carol calling out the Avengers. It's probably Michael Golden's best comic book he ever drew. And it's also the first appearance of Rogue. It's like this crazy annual that's got everything you ever wanted in it. Like every page is gorgeous. Yeah. Anyway.
Thanks, Marvel Unlimited. All right, I'll check that out.
There you go. No, it's worth having. Worth having. It would be in my top 5 Marvels of all time.
Did you see the McCartney documentary?
Not yet.
I started watching it actually tonight. I know, too much to watch. I know.
But no, I'm going to say I've tell you something off the air that a friend of ours is working on that will make you very
great.
happy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kevin Shinnick, who was one of the Carmen Sandiego hosts, and he was part of the Animated Mad TV show, that half-hour thing that was on Cartoon Network and stuff. He plays Dick Clark in this upcoming Michael Jackson movie. And I had Kevin on when he had his Kickstarter, and also I had him on years ago when DC did their 75th anniversary documentary, because Kevin was one of the writers. He was also, I believe, was part of Seth Green and Robot Chicken.
Robot Chicken.
Yeah. Really funny writer. Great, really like decent host. But he's like, oh yeah, by the way, because I've been waiting for this movie to come out, this Michael Jackson thing. I don't know how it's going to be, but he's
don't know either. I nothing I've seen is maybe get in line to watch it. All right. All right. I am going to have to wrap. I'm so sorry. Even though I said it'd only be an hour, we're 2 hours. But let's talk about what we're here. We're gonna clip this separate. So we want to schedule the next book clubs, right? So, and again, I'm sorry for the delay in the book clubs. I was ill, but I'm okay. So for the next book club, a lot of the Jinxworld people have asked for a Tuesday evening. I don't know if that's okay for you. All right.
Fine with me.
What do you think? Well, next Tuesday is the 21st, or do we want to give people a week more to read it? And also the book will be Absolute Martian Manhunter by Dennis Camp. Right. That was a very good suggestion from the Jinxworld board.
Someone said his image series in the chat, and I'm like, because I let my patrons know as well that it's Absolute Martian Manhunter. I'm like, oh fuck, I hope it's not the image one. And
no. But I will say, I was going to say, I've read the first 7-8 issues of Assorted Crisis Events.
Assorted Crisis.
I would highly recommend reading that as well. It will be brought up in the discussion. I think what he's doing here is really special. The spoilers. And I don't think anyone would be mad at me for saying read that too. It's very good. Okay. So do we want to do everyone's thumbs upping on that. Do you want to do the 28th for
yeah, that's fine.
Give people time to read. Like every time I say that, okay. So we're gonna lock it down. 8 o'clock Tuesday night, the 28th. Absolute Martian Manhunter will be the subject, and other things you want to read by Dennis Campbell will probably be well served by that conversation. There will be crisis spoilers, is what I'm saying. So, that's cool. But if you want to be part of the book club, you just have to be on the Jinxworld Discord. If you bought any issue of Powers or are on Jinxworld, you're already in. You'll get an invitation, no problem. Or you want to be a member of the Word Balloon Patreon, which is you should be anyhow, because it's just filled to the rim with all kinds of cool interviews and special stuff, and that's where your Love Boat stuff is too, right?
It's true.
Okay, so on the many crazy projects John is doing, they're doing a Love Boat rewatch with couples in comics. Is that correct? Am I saying that correctly? No. Oh, okay.
No, Franco from Art and Franco and Tiny Titans.
And they were there. They were here earlier, right? I saw them yell, "Hey!"
The couple.
Comics did, "Hey!" Right? That's him, right?
Oh, yeah, comics. That was Art. That was Baltazar.
Okay,
that was doing that.
Nice.
So he goes hello. That's how he thinks he's saying hello, which cracks me up. But anyway, Franco and I do we call it Emotion Sickness, a Love Boat rewatch. We're in the first season. Mike Oming and Taki Soma have done episodes. Other comic creators have as well. Brian is absolutely welcome to do one. So
me and Elisa, we have an anniversary coming up. After the anniversary, we'll do a Love Boat with you. I don't think my wife has seen. I don't think she's seen the Love Boat. I'd be very surprised.
That's shocking.
But someone asked how much a Jinxworld subscription is. Yeah. You go to jinxworld.com. It's like $5 if you want to see all the classes and stuff that are there, or if it's easier for you, in any issue of there you go. Powers, you got a QR code, takes you right to the Discord, and you get all the invites you want. So either way is good. If you bought the book, like the Discord is kind of like the letter column of the book. So,
and not to compete, but $3 a month for a Word Balloon subscription through Patreon, patreon.com/wordballoon, you will have access to the book club through Word Balloon, and also the Word Balloon magazine, where I've been transcribing a lot of interviews that will many of them will make up the Word Balloon book soon coming to a comic store near you soon. And I'm
all right.
And
again, and one or the other. You don't have to do both. If you just love John, just be with John. Great. If you know, and again, this is so you can participate in the book club. John then posts the audio and the stream of the book club to the public. You just don't get to be part of the conversation. So if you want to be part of the conversation, come on in. We've had some really excellent conversations. And if you want to see what we're talking about, there's quite a handful of book clubs already on the Word Balloon stream. You can check them out. We've had excellent conversations. Each one of them. Yeah. So.
By the way, real fast, I saw a noir that you, Gabe and I talked about it last week on Scene Missing. Scandal Sheet from 1953. Broderick Crawford, Donna Reed, and John Derrick. It's basically like a noir set at like the Daily Planet, but like think of Clark Kent as the fall guy. And not that, and Donna Reed.
What's it called again? You actually got me. Hold on. What's it called again?
I'm telling you, Scandal Sheet. Broderick Crawford.
Sheet.
Yeah, he's the Perry White. Donna Reed's the Lois Lane. And John Derrick, yes, Bo Derrick's husband, Aaron in the 10 Commandments, hanging out with Chuck Heston. He's the sap in it and everything.
Wow.
You can find it on YouTube. It's fun.
No, I love shit like that. That's great.
Sam Fuller movie.
All right. Do we miss any questions before I hang up? To make sure we got everybody.
No, any technical requirements for being no, it's a Zoom call, everybody.
It's a Zoom call, yeah.
What happens is Brian and I, to our respective groups, we send out the Zoom link, we record the thing. Eventually you'll see it on Word Balloon and hear it on Word Balloon. But if you want to be a part of it, that's how you join.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And also for the Jinxworld people, it's part of like an evolving conversation about let's just craft in comics and looking at other people's choices and seeing what we feel about them, or it's like all of us do, just looking at stuff and looking for inspiration. So, all right.
Absolute Martian Manhunter, everybody. And we'll be doing that.
And then the next one for the next month, as long as we're here, is Day Trippers by Gabriel Ba and Fabio Moon.
Yeah, the brothers.
That was very recommended, highly recommended. And I thought, I liked that we're going from like a very, like a take on a superhero to a very independent idea. I have not read Day Trippers, to my shock, because I love Casanova and all the other things they do. But I've just never gotten around to Day Trippers. Do not tell them. So I jumped at the chance of using this opportunity. So let's say May 26th will be, unless there's something on your calendar that tells you no.
I don't think so.
May 26th, Tuesday at 8 p.m. will be for Day Trippers. So give a lot of people plenty of time to read what I'm told was an excellent book. So there you go.
It is an excellent book.
And then after that, we'll bring it up to the group. Everyone can start throwing out ideas of what they think we should be reading next. We are obviously always focusing on things that we think would benefit from a little sunlight and love. So if it's probably in the top 5 books right now, probably doesn't need our help. You know what I mean? So, but doesn't mean that we're against that. But that's kind of what we've been doing.
Oh, Absolute Martian Manhunter is a perfect example of that. Hot seller. So, No.
So,
all right.
All right.
Well done. Next week, everybody, Powers issue 8.
Yes.
And look for that. And also Spider-Man, Superman.
Spider-Man, Superman. There's a bunch of words I never thought I'd get to say again. I can't believe I get to write Miles again. I get to write Superman again. I want to do a crossover, anything so bad. Guys, remember, like John, I think John was there in Chicago where we were trying to get that Batman Daredevil crossover going and got shut down hard.
No, you won't.
No, you won't. Yeah. So,
Cooper. Boo.
So, yeah. So we, so this is a mountain climb for me on many, many levels. And again, we'll talk soon. We'll talk in the summer. Weirdly, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. In fact, we're going to hang up. I'm going to tell John what I just did, and he's going to slap me for not saying it online, but it hasn't been announced yet. But there's a couple things coming that are genuinely exciting, and I really appreciate, as I said before, you guys buying the books, you guys celebrating them online, you guys writing nice notes about things that you like. It doesn't have to be my stuff. Anything you're reading that you love, you are helping that book by spreading the love and word about it. Post cool images. It really is the best thing you could do to help celebrate any book that you're reading from any company, any creator. So, and yes, I will be at Terrificon. John and I we'll do it live. We'll do it there. So, all right.
Happy 21st anniversary.
Yes, happy anniversary. All right. Talk to you guys soon.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching.
All right. Thanks. I'll see you on the Discord.
All right. Tomorrow afternoon, everybody. Andy Parks will be here to don't worry, Brian, hang out. Andy Parks tomorrow, 3:00 Eastern, noon Pacific time. We'll be talking about Bad Thoughts, his new book from Ignition Press. Him and Dave Wachter here on Word Balloon. Stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.